Well, here we are, on our way to Cherbourg. So we slipped our anchorage at 10 o'clock at Bray, Alderney. So we've been going almost exactly an hour and 5 minutes, and we've done nearly 6 miles. We're rattling along. We've got the tide behind us, so we're doing 6.9, 7.2 knots. Light winds, we've only got about 8 knots of wind, and Rose seems to be making about 4.5 to 5 knots of actual boat speed, and then the rest of it is all wind, is all tide, sorry. Wind's only about 35-40 degrees off the nose, so we're quite close hauled, but we'll bear away when we get round the corner of the actual Cap de la Hague, because we are going around here. Okay. So there's Cherbourg. That's the entrance to the harbour and the marina. We're down here, so we'll bear away a little bit to starboard. We'll bring the wind a little bit aft, and we'll get a bit more speed, and we'll be doing really well. So there we go. Little update for the morning. Can't suck in much longer. Can't keep sucking in.
Your chain around your neck glinting in the sun.
Is it? We're both going places today.
Yes. Just beautiful.
Awesome,
No, it's not an island, it's a continent, and we're going to Europe.
Well, it's one of the best. As we arrived, I called the marina staff on VHF 9, and they came out and met us, responded immediately actually, and they directed us down to a pontoon directly underneath the office. Well, that was great, except we didn't know where the office was, and they promptly shoved off, and we couldn't raise them again. We couldn't get them on the radio, we couldn't get them to come back. So we bumbled around a little bit. I found it very confusing inside the marina. The pontoons lay off you at an angle, and it was quite difficult to find the letters that tell you which pontoon you're on. But eventually we found our way down to the correct pontoon. It was quite busy. There were quite a lot of boats in there, rafted up, and we rafted up next to an English boat. There was no one aboard, but we rafted up nicely. And that was where we found ourselves. And actually, in the end, everything turned out fine, and it was a smashing end to a nice day. Well, this is where we eventually found ourselves. We were rafted up next to a British boat to begin with, but they left the next morning at 5 a.m. So we were obviously ready to go and prepared to shift away from them so that they could get out. But they very sportingly offered to hand us around their boat and onto the pontoon behind them. And that's exactly what we did. I think there was 5 of them in total. So with myself and Mandy, 7 in total, it was a really simple job to just hand Rose around the stern of their boat. They pulled forward and we simply drifted in. and moored up in this position. And it was a lovely place to be. We were very close to the office, very close to all of the shops and the walk into town. Rue de Napoleon, there's always a Rue de Napoleon. Rue de Napoleon is just across the other side of the road from us, and that's the gateway into the town. It actually turned out to be a really, really nice place to be.
Okay, so I just wanted to share with you a few things. We arrived in Cherbourg yesterday, rafted up overnight, and this morning around about 5 o'clock French time we moved so that the boat could leave, and now we're moored against the pontoon and we're all cleared. We'll do a little piece about how we went about getting cleared under the new regulations on a different piece of filming. But we've just been to the market in town that is open on a Thursday in the centre of town, a very easy walk. If you just find the church and then turn right at the church, it's right there. And I just want to show you some of the amazing produce that we bought from the market today. So you can see cherries, mushrooms, apple tart, vanilla custard tart, an assortment of all different shapes and sizes, tomatoes, bread, and back again to the cherries. All very delicious, all grown locally. And the cherries and tomatoes and the mushrooms were bought from stalls that were just tiny little stalls, literally from farm to market. Amazing. So what I might also do, if I get a chance, is do a little bit of filming when I do some cooking and use some of this amazing ingredients. Okay, thanks, bye for now. Well, we were going to film making lunch with the tomatoes and the French bread, but it was so delicious that we forgot to film it. But it was really delicious. Literally just chopped up tomatoes, olive oil, salt and pepper onto slices of the French bread, let it soak in. Absolutely amazing. The tomatoes are so thin skinned and so juicy, it was incredible. Absolutely at their sort of perfect ripeness. And for pudding, we've got these amazing huge cherries that are absolutely delicious. Again, absolutely perfectly ripe, thin skinned, absolutely juicy.
Now look, we come from Kent, where cherries are a way of life. Cherries and strawberries, eh? Mm-hmm. These are the best cherries ever. And I don't know how much they cost, I can't remember. But if you see them in a French market, grab them. Grab a lot of them. Eat them till you're sick of them, because you won't regret it. And that's a promise.
Absolutely amazing. We'll stop filming now and start eating, because Gordon will eat them all before I get a chance otherwise. Well, this is Gordon testing out the new dinghy from Boat World and testing out the new electric outboard, which I've got to say he was very sceptical about buying, but he's clearly now loving it. It's very quiet and very manoeuvrable, as you can see. I'm just going to throw him a life jacket, so everyone who's tutting that he hasn't got a life jacket on. He escaped before I could get him to put one on because he was so excited about trying out the new dinghy and the new outboard, electric outboard no less. So this test is being done in Cherbourg Marina, where we're on the visitors pontoon. We've been here a couple of days. Very lovely. Just gone out of sight now. You absolutely cannot hear anything at all. What you can hear in the background, if you can hear anything, is a motor cruiser just starting up its engines. But as for the electric outboard, absolutely no sound whatsoever. Easy for me to lift off the boat down to Gordon in the dinghy, which makes a massive difference from a great big petrol outboard. And really easy to store because you don't have to worry about spillage or fumes. And because we've got solar panels, very easy to recharge when we're not in a marina and living off the hook. I think we'll say that that's a positive test. I don't think we're going to get him back until the battery runs out. There he comes, gliding past. Absolutely perfect. I don't know what you'll be able to see because of the glare of the water. So what do you think, Captain?
I think it's awesome. Absolutely awesome.
Good, manoeuvrable,
Yeah.
quiet,
Yeah.
power?
Oh, ample. It's so quiet, actually you have problems when you're getting going. There's a tiny lag between touching the throttle and anything happening. And that catches you by surprise, you think it's not working.
Beautiful.
Our last evening in Cherbourg. It's been an absolute delight. We really enjoyed it here. Really honest spot. The marina's massive and really busy. Lots of stuff going on. Great to see. Town's lovely, busy, honest, a bit down at heel in places, but wonderful in others. Good supermarkets, good shops, good eating, good little bars, cafes, restaurants. Some sort of an event going on over this weekend. Look, they're starting to put up all of the marquees and seating and stands. Don't know what it's going to be. Over there, that's where our Redoutable is, the big submarine. That's the Maritime Museum over there. Great. Oh, yacht coming out at about 40 miles an hour. They really don't hang about here. But lovely. Thoroughly enjoyed it. We're slipping away from here at 5:30 tomorrow morning, so it's an early night. An early night, early start. Heading off down to Sark. Catch a tide going the right way for the point round at Cherbourg. Excellent. So it's about 20 minutes later and we're just about to leave. Now the system here is just the same as you've seen anywhere else. So the pumps are up on the hard, you're on the pontoon down on the water. So it really takes two of you. So one person passes down the nozzle and gets the machine gun, puts the credit card in it, does all the stuff that's required, and away you go. But there's a wrinkle, which is the time you get between taking the nozzle out of the pump and someone pulling the trigger on the nozzle is quite short, and the pump trips out. So it says I need to have the nozzle put back in me before I can start again. And this happened to us, but Mandy came up with a great wheeze and she took the nozzle out of the pump next door and stuck it into our pump, and that kind of reset the system. Then when she took the nozzle out of the pump, diesel flowed again, and we were able to pull the lever and start filling the tanks. So it's just one of those little things that trips you up, but we found a way around it, and it's something to remember for yourself if you're ever in there. You literally get maybe, I don't know, 30 seconds before you've got to press the button or pull the lever on the nozzle. It's not long enough, but there's a way around it for you.